Emirates has just taken delivery of its first new aircraft type in decades, and as luck would have it, I'm on its inaugural flight to share all my first impressions with you guys. This new aircraft is exciting for many reasons. First of all, Emirates hasn't taken delivery of a new aircraft type since 2008, and they haven't received a single new airplane in several years. The A350 represents a huge shift for the airline for several reasons. It's a much smaller aircraft than their signature 777-300s and A380s. Considering they have 65 of these A350s on order, it signals a shift to smaller planes on certain routes and also a future with more potential routes. Also, none of Emirates A350s are currently planned to have first class. This means the airline is unfortunately moving away from featuring its iconic first class on the vast majority of its fleet. In other words, the A350 is an aircraft that will shake up Emirates. The good news is that these aircraft will feature Emirates' latest cabins, in addition to the A350 just being a joy to fly in general. If I can't be on an A380, my second choice is always an A350. So how does Emirates A350 stack up? Join me on its inaugural flight to find out. If you're new here, I'm Dan, a half Swedish and half American airplane fanatic who's been reviewing airlines for over a decade. I've flown over 160 airlines to help you, as Emirates would say, fly better. I am in Edinburgh, where I will be heading to the airport at 6 p.m. to take the Emirates A350-900 that was delivered just over a month ago. This is the very first Emirates A350 route, and the aircraft is on its way from Dubai to Edinburgh with its first ever passengers as we speak. So off to the airport we go, but not before. So I've had the luxury of spending the afternoon with Dennis here.
Hello.
You might know him from his flight reviews. He's gonna have the luxury of doing something very special tonight. I'll be on board, but you are...
I'm going to be behind the scenes. I'm going to be with the engineering crew, watching the aircraft come in, doing the visual check, the engineering checks, making sure that the aircraft is all set and safe to fly back to Dubai.
I'm so jealous. I'll put his video in a card. I always forget which corner it is. I think it's up here.
Is that one, there or there?
So check it out there if you want to see the aircraft from outside, and check out Dennis' other
behind the
awesome
scenes
videos. At check-in, we see the first sign of this special day. At the gate, we see the next sign. So we're just about to hop on board, and there's someone you might recognize on this flight as well.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello,
No.
Mr. Van, how are you?
I am good. We finally get to meet. We're both very excited for the flight, right?
I'm super looking forward to this. A350 is my absolute favourite aircraft.
Same.
Emirates, one of my favourite airlines.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what they're doing with their business class on this.
I know. It's a good combo. So check Noel's video. I'll put it in a card to hear his thoughts as well. It is time to board. We're a big party of media today, so I'll try my best to record for you guys. But yeah, we're so excited. Hi, how are you?
How are you? Thank you very much, and welcome back one more time with
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you very much, sir. That will be on the first try
Thank
for you.
you.
Happy New Year for the second time.
Yeah, Happy New Year. The Emirates A350 comes in a 3-class configuration. So far, Emirates only has their so-called regional configuration, with the main difference being a smaller 21-seat premium economy cabin as opposed to 28, and lack of a crew rest. This aircraft also has 259 economy class seats, as well as the star of the show, 32 business class seats in a 1-2-1 configuration. I'm in seat 7 Bravo today, a business class seat closer to the aisle. Will privacy be a concern here? I'll let you know in a moment. If traveling with someone else, especially a loved one or a child you want to be close to, I love these center honeymoon seats, and I really appreciate that Emirates chose to maintain those. Another thing I realized is that every single window seat on this aircraft has a window, which might not sound noteworthy, except most aircraft out there have at least one blocked window due to wiring. That includes the Emirates 777. So on their A350, rest assured that your window will actually have a view outside. The lavatory situation is a little confusing, since on paper, business class has 3 lavatories to itself. In reality, the 2 lavatories behind business class seem to be shared with premium economy. I never had to wait to use the toilet though, unlike on Emirates 777s, so overall this is definitely an improvement. Now I won't keep you waiting any longer, let's hop on board. Welcome to the STUNNING Emirates A350 cabin. What a time to be alive. right, we are on board, baby. And it is nice. So, I was originally supposed to fly this aircraft later this month, but just a couple of weeks ago, I got an email from Emirates, who I've never heard from before in my life, asking if I wanted to join the first A350 flight. And I thought, you know what, I would be absolutely stupid to say no to this opportunity. So I canceled my flight for later in January, and here I am, one of just a few lucky people who get to be on this historic first Emirates A350 flight. To be extra clear, Emirates provided free inaugural flight tickets to a group of influencers and media, myself included. This is the first time I've ever received anything like this from Emirates, so all my years of being a fan of the airline remain unaffected, and I'll continue to judge them fairly just like I would any other carrier. Now, where were we? As you can tell, it's quite dark though, so let me fix that problem. Daylight. Much better. Welcome to One Day Earlier. Before we get into the A350, this is Emirates' new business class seat seen here on their Boeing 777 that I'm flying from Dubai to Edinburgh. This seems like an appropriate way to get to the inaugural flight from Edinburgh. The new cabin was installed on this specific 777 just a month before my flight, and I've been dying to try this since it was introduced, so here we are. Let's quickly jump back into the Nonstop and seat map database to see what the configuration is like on Emirates' new reconfigured 777s. There are 9 777-300ERs with their game-changer first class, and apparently there will be no more than 9. Those 9 aircraft now have 6 game-changer seats up front, along with 38 business class seats behind that, with a self-service bar right here. There are also 24 premium economy seats, and finally 256 economy class seats. Meanwhile, more and more regular 777-300ERs with the classic first class are being reconfigured. These aircraft are getting new cabin finishes in all cabins, with 8 regular first class seats up front, and interestingly 40 business class seats without the self-service bar, meaning 2 extra seats are installed here. Then the remaining 2 cabin configurations should be roughly the same as the game-changer 777s. These aircraft all have only 2 lavatories dedicated to business class, a problem that is remedied on the A350 as you saw. So let me show you these new seats. So the first thing that strikes me about these new seats pictured here on the 777 is that they have been game-changer-ified. You now have this luxurious white stitched seating with dark faux wood, dark goldish bronze finishes, and high seat backs. Yes, this won't be winning best business class seat anytime soon, but I have a whole explainer video about why Emirates chose to install this as its new seat rather than something more spiffy, perhaps with a door. You can watch that video in the card now. There are a few minor upgrades to the A350 seat though, so stay tuned. So among all the initial dialogue about this seat when it was introduced on the 777 in 2024, August 2024, one of the things that seemed to be missed is that the seat backs, and I said this from the start on the podcast, are much higher than they are on the A380. As you can see here, I'm sitting up straight and the seat back behind me extends way above my head, which makes it just a bit more private. Now, it's not as high as Q Suite, very few seats are, but when you compare it with almost any other business class seat in this type of staggered configuration without a door, the seats do not get more private. What you might also notice is the tech improvements over older seats on the A380 with 2 USB-C ports here, and as it turns out, a sharp attention to detail. The charging ports are all installed in a way that means pretty much any charger will fit, something surprisingly many airlines manage to mess up. The entertainment system, ICE, has Bluetooth audio now as well. The side console is ever so slightly tilted downwards so that in flight, the surface becomes level considering you always fly with the nose of the aircraft slightly tilted up. Those are small things I imagine most people, aka non-super aviation nerds, wouldn't even react to, but they make a difference. It's funny I fly in and out of Dubai so often these days because as a teenager, the UAE had me hooked. I'd been convinced by all those dramatic ad reads by child actors that this would be the greatest place to visit in the history of ever.
I felt it before I heard it.
When I finally got to go for the first time in 2015 with one of my friends, it was a dream come true, even if I didn't get to fly Emirates for the first time until 2 years later. I try to remember that feeling of burning curiosity my younger self had, so I never forget how far I've come to where something like this can almost seem ordinary. Now, after departure, Emirates hands out thick mattress pads to every business class passenger on almost all their flights. This makes for a comfortable bed. I'd still say the A380 and especially the A350, once we get to that, will be preferable for sleep though, because they have lower noise levels and higher cabin humidity. I always forget to drink water, so the 777 never fails to make me feel like a prune by the time we land, so yay A350. Perhaps the most impressive thing is all the foot space in this seat. It's among the most I've seen on any non-bulkhead business class seat. So, what is it like in the more exposed aisle-adjacent seats like the one I'm about to be on as we head back to Edinburgh?
Oh my God, I just saw the best thing I've ever seen on a plane in my life. At least in a business class cabin without central overhead bins.
The problem with not having overhead bins is that there are no individual air vents there, meaning it's easier to overheat on board. Emirates is the first airline I've ever seen to install individual air vents in the seats in business class. And to think some airlines don't install individual air vents at all. Besides that, what are the notable differences on the A350? I think the more modern tablet is most noticeable, along with the slightly different window shade controls and the addition of wireless charging. Looking at the finer details, you'll see the wattages are significantly higher here, more than double that of the USB-C ports on the 777. Now the interesting thing is that the 777 is a wider airplane, and guess what? You can kind of tell. This seat feels a little bit narrower, as does the side console. It's especially noticeable since you have 2 fewer drink compartments in the minibar. Really important stuff, I know.
Okay, let's get one more thing sorted before we leave, huh? And that is prepare for my arrival in the United Arab Emirates. Specifically, I don't want to land and deal with having to get mobile data, especially when I know it can be really expensive. And I definitely don't want to use my regular phone plan, which costs a fortune. I think it's about $20 per megabyte. Instead, I can get 10 gigabytes there for less than the price of 1 megabyte. How do I do that? I use today's amazing video sponsor, Saily. Saily is an eSIM company you've heard me talk about before, where all you have to do is choose which country or region you're traveling to, buy an eSIM and install it right on your phone. No physical SIM cards required. You just need to install one eSIM once, and from then on, you can keep topping it up with different data bundles. What I also find about Saily is that their data somehow lasts me a really long time compared to other data packages that I've bought in the past. Saily is a brand from my longtime sponsor Nord, and an amazing feature they recently introduced is some of the security features you'll find with NordVPN straight into the app. So now, if you buy a Saily eSIM, you'll also get amazing features like protecting your online browsing and other security features to keep you safe while you use your data. The thing is, you need to download Saily and install it before your trip. So scan the QR code now or tap the link at the top of the description below. Use code NonstopDan for 15% off your first Saily eSIM. Download Saily now. The app is free, so you have nothing to lose.
As I mentioned, I'm in one of the seats closer to the aisle this time, and to my surprise, that doesn't bother me one bit. The seat feels just as private as the one closer to the window thanks to how the rows are staggered, as well as the sizable privacy partition on the seat next to me. In a way, I prefer this seat to the one closer to the windows since the floor can be used as storage for my bag during the flight without blocking my exit to the aisle. Now, do we all wish a business class product introduced on a brand new aircraft in 2025 had a door? Of course, but Emirates knows that as long as the seat is good enough, people won't choose to book the competition over them, so you can't really blame them. Man, those Jennifer Aniston ads really paid off, didn't they?
You have showers. Emirates planes have showers and lounges.
This isn't an Emirates plane, man.
Would you like to go back to your seat now?
Oh, no, I'm good.
Another major difference on the A350 is that the entertainment system ICE has been completely redesigned redesigned and scarily enough manages to reach completely new heights. They have how many seasons of one of my favorite shows, Curb Your Enthusiasm? Wow, have we come a long way since the days of having one episode from the 5th season of a show. The UI is also an absolute dream. It actually feels like something you'd find outside of an airplane. That's to say, they have user-friendly features like being able to skip back and forth 10 seconds with this button rather than having to use the fast forward and back buttons, which makes it impossible to find what you need. Plus, the A350 tail camera design is a dream. The good entertainment system might come in handy since Emirates has chosen not to install Starlink yet. Instead, they promise faster Wi-Fi on the A350, which showed the following speeds on my speed test. Can someone tell all the influencers on board to stop posting selfies on their Instagram stories so maybe it'll speed up? I'm looking at you, Noel. One of the special features of this flight is the menu, at least the cover. Listen, I'm keeping this whether Emirates wants me to or not. The contents are ironically more luxurious than you'll get out of Dubai, so Edinburgh passengers are in luck. Another fun thing to check out, this. Emirates only offers amenity kits on overnight flights in business class, and out of I don't know how many Emirates business class flights at this point, by some miracle, I have managed to never take an overnight flight in it until today. Personally, I'd always much rather stay overnight in Dubai in a real bed if I'm connecting. Anyway, my point is, this is our amenity kit. Bulgari products, deodorant, real shaving cream, and all types of other goodies. I mean, this isn't all too different from their first class amenity kit.
It is finally mealtime, and oh boy, am I impressed with this catering. I did not expect this out of Edinburgh, but I have some sort of mushroom, almost like a mushroom pate with sliced truffle and vegan truffle cream on top.
This might just be the single most impressive outstation catered meal I've had in 10 years of reviewing airlines. My main course is a pasta and my dessert is fruit. These are a little more in line with what I'd expect out of a smaller airport like Edinburgh. In the galley, I get a look at the most luxurious meal option on the menu, the lobster. On my flight to Edinburgh the day prior, I was allowed to take photos of all the meal options off the menu, so here you are. These are the 3 main courses.
Alright guys, the meal is done. We have only about 3.5 hours left to Dubai, so I am beyond ready to sleep, but it's been so fun. The crew, I actually had the same crew today as I had yesterday, and they have been 11 out of 10. So fantastic, taking such good care of us. But now it is time to just zone out and hopefully wake up with some daylight outside and enjoy the approach into Dubai with a beautiful view of the A350 wing.
Now for a look at our bed. The mattress pad, the soft blanket, the space by your feet. I will sleep like a baby. I've never had this scratchy pillow before in Emirates business class, so I'm hoping it's only here for the inaugural flight to add Emirates branding to the cabin. This is when I close my window and see the window shade. My goodness, this is something else. Fast forward an hour and a half and I wake up to see the first layer of the shade is this fantastic darkening panel. This has to be my new favorite window shade system in the world. Thank you, Emirates, for not installing dimmable window shades and investing in this instead.
Good morning. Look what I woke up to at my seat. This is epic. You know, I always wonder, every passenger on board gets one of these. What do most people who have no idea it's an inaugural flight do with it? Do they know how special and historic today is? Do they, God forbid, throw this out? I don't even want to think about it. And they have a little slot here to put your boarding pass as well, so you can put it on the wall and really remember the historic event that I was lucky enough to witness. I mean, thank you guys. Seriously, thank you for watching all my videos, for supporting me for all these years, and enabling me to occasionally get to do something this special. It's seriously such a blessing. So how was my sleep? I slept amazingly. I think it's hard to sleep better than you can on an A350 thanks to the cabin being pressurized at a lower altitude, thanks to the higher humidity. All those things really combine to make it so pleasant. So every time a new A350 is delivered, I'm happy. I love checking Airbus deliveries to see what's gone out, and every time an A350 has gone somewhere, regardless of the airline, I'm like, yes, one more.
Last but certainly not least, let's have a look at the forward lavatory on this beauty. I don't recall ever seeing a curved back back wall like this. I can't tell you how nice it feels to know how few people have used this before me. What a luxury. The trash door is operated by a pedal here, another nice touch. I've always found it baffling that Emirates and Qatar don't install bidets, at least in their premium cabins, given how essential they are to most people in the region. I'm curious about the reason for that because I can't imagine it comes down to cost for these lavish airlines. All too soon, we start our descent toward Dubai with beautiful coastal views of southern Iran. So, let me share my initial Emirates A350 thoughts with you. I'm planning on making several more videos on this aircraft on flights I've paid for myself, since that's how I prefer to do it at the end of the day. Let me say this completely genuinely, I would love to fly the Emirates A350 again. The challenge for Emirates is that their A380s are so fun to fly between the bar and the basically comparable seat to this that I would still recommend seeking out their A380 over the A350. That said, you likely won't be facing that situation given that the A350 will serve cities that don't get the Emirates A380s. If it comes down to choosing between an Emirates 777 with their new seats and an A350, there are perks to both. On the 777, you'll get what I felt was a slightly wider and more spacious seat. On the A350, you'll get better cabin air, even better tech, and an improved lavatory to passenger ratio. So, welcome to the skies, Emirates A350. On behalf of the flying public, we are happy to have you. I mean, I'm super happy just for this stunning winglet to exist alone. We made it to Dubai. It has been such a fantastic flight, and it was such a pleasure to meet Noel here. So hopefully we'll be able to take another flight together soon.
Absolutely, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do a
private
proper
jet.
collab. Private jet at some point. Yeah, that'd be cool, yeah. Maybe we can get some others involved as well.
Yeah, just aviation YouTube,
Yes.
charters and private jet.
Right, exactly.
I know, I would love that. Let's do it. If you stayed this long, thank you for watching my first video of 2025. This should be the year I reach 1 million subscribers, so if you haven't already, could you please hit that subscribe button? How about this? If you hit the subscribe button and leave a comment below, you will be entered to win one of 3 Emirates A350 aircraft models in a 1/200 scale that Emirates were kind enough to give me, so it's only fair to gift them onwards. I'll also be giving away a few Emirates business class pajamas, which are insanely comfortable, again, as long as you're subscribed and comment below. Just to say this again, your support means the world to me. It's thanks to you I get noticed by an airline I like as much as Emirates and have the honor of getting invited to a once-in-a-lifetime flight like this. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Until I see you in my next video, fly safe.